I'm back with a Mr. Nightmare video today. Surprise, surprise, I know. The odd time I just want to do a horror reaction just because obviously I will go back full time to doing that when I'm all caught up on drama videos, which I'll be there eventually. I'll get there eventually, hopefully by the end of, definitely by the end of the year. Hopefully by October, September I'll be able to have everything up, and then I'll just be able to normally do any kind of videos that just come out or whatever, you know what I mean? This video is going to be 3 Scary True Lockdown Horror Stories, Volume 4, so obviously it's been a while. There's been quite a few of these videos. Sorry, I'm just trying to save something. I forgot what this is supposed to be called. Oh, something battle. I was editing videos, that's why, sorry. Yeah, 3 Scary True Lockdown Horror Stories. This ought to be fun. I've never experienced, well, I've had practice lockdowns. I just haven't had like a legit lockdown, you know? Where it was needed. Well, we actually have, I lied. But like it wasn't anything totally crazy. Apparently a kid had a gun, but it wasn't a real gun or something, I don't know. But the police shut up and everything, and it was fun. But it was nothing major, like a shooter inside the school. Knock on wood. Because that shit definitely is scary. I don't even need to experience it to know. I just don't want to experience it because I know that it's probably terrifying. Pretty obvious to know by itself. That's pretty scary. So, by the way, so I know that there are Mr. Nightmare videos that I'm behind on still. That I didn't react to even before this one. I'm just reacting to like random ones, the ones that like I appeal to me the most, or that I feel like will be pretty interesting. So I'm just doing those for now. That I will go back and do everything, I hope, at some point. But again, like my schedule and everything, like I'm lucky and you guys are lucky that I have like a bunch of days off so I can still upload daily and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, 3 Scary True Lockdown Horror Stories Volume 4. Let's go, guys. It's just about 12 minutes long. Anonymous. This one's probably true.
I work at a middle school as an 8th grade math teacher. Some of you may assume that means I'm like 38 or something, but I'm actually only 26. I was hired young. I'm not saying I'm immature or anything, just that if I was 10 or 20 years older, I may have handled things differently. Of course, this happened during a period that I was teaching a class. The math wing in our school is closest to the lobby. I remember it like it was yesterday, down to the equation I was writing on the board when the lockdown alarm suddenly sounded. It wasn't a drill. All faculty and students are taught which alarms mean what, and this was the alarm that meant go into lockdown for real, not a drill.
Oh.
I hurried to the door to lock it. Each door in the building has a big glass panel in it though, so the doors have little blinds that you could pull down to cover this. Even though we're supposed to pull down the blinds during lockdowns, we're also supposed to instruct students to hide in one corner of the room with the lights off.
Yes.
As I turned off the lights in the classroom, I told the students to go hide in the corner of the room where we would be least visible and audible from the door.
And you close the curtain thing, right?
I saw the lights in the hallways dim to just the backup lights, something I'd never seen before till that point. I was slightly worried because I knew this had to be serious. And like I said, the math wing is right by the lobby. My classroom is one of the first classrooms you pass as you're going through one of the 2 hallways that veer from the lobby.
Of course.
I was curious, so using the classroom phone, I called the front office.
No.
They didn't pick up after 4 rings.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I wasn't endangering anyone to my knowledge because the front office is behind 2 doors and the phone wouldn't be heard from the lobby.
Still, don't do that.
Them not picking up was concerning.
Don't do that.
Suddenly
you probably give them away.
A frantic panic knocking, accompanied with someone on the other side of the door begging to be let in. It wasn't a student, the voice was way too deep. It sounded to me like a guy in his early 20s, if I had to guess.
He's like a
I
teacher?
went to the door quietly, saw the person's shadow on the other side of the blind. He started saying he could see me through the blind and knew I could hear him. He kept saying let me in this scared-sounding kind of whimpery voice. I looked to my students. Some of them had scared, confused looks on their faces.
It could be a setup.
I signaled for them to keep quiet. Then I asked through the door, who's there? What's your name? He said his name was Cody and that he was a student and needed to get into the classroom because he felt unsafe in the halls.
I don't know if you can believe that.
When he told me this, I noticed he seemed to be trying to talk in a slightly higher pitch. I wasn't falling for it. There was no way that voice belonged to a middle schooler.
Oh, true.
I ignored him and went back to the corner by the students. The guy on the other side of the door started knocking harder now, fiddling with the doorknob and then kind of thrashing at the door, all while still saying, help, let me in.
Go to a different
room. I best to
room.
keep my students from screaming or freaking out. The guy eventually gave up and the noises stopped.
Good.
We stayed in lockdown for half an hour before an announcement was made that police had searched the building and it was safe. So later on, faculty was given more details, and apparently some 20-something-year-old guy with long hair down to his shoulders was walking around the school with a small handgun. Whether it was a real gun or not remains unknown, but the guy was caught on camera leaving the building through a back exit, and he was found by police 2 hours later, not holding the gun. I think I could have handled the situation a little better. For example, not even answering the guy when he was at the door, but I was so nervous that I really wasn't thinking logically. It's scary to think about what might have transpired if I opened the door for him.
Yeah, you never trust somebody. If it's a student, then it's like, fuck. It's like, too bad. Pause. If it's a student, it's like, fuck, I guess, because it's like, too bad, you know what I mean? Like, you can't really trust anybody. It's a lockdown. You can't really let anybody in. You can't open your doors. Like, it's a lockdown, you know what I mean? You can't do that. Because you never know who's who, you know what I mean? Plus, like, banging on the door. I mean, of course, you could assume it's like a student kind of like, yeah, please let me in, you know? Like, if it's middle school and then they have like a deep-ass voice, then it's like, you're like, what, grade 6, 7, maybe 8? So it's like, I don't expect you to have that deep of a voice. So, unless it's a teacher, then, but he said he was a student, so, yeah, fuck. If that was a real gun, if she opened that door, I mean, what else would you really do? Of course you're gonna answer, because, like, it's kind of like, do I open it? Do I not open it? Like, fuck, what do I do? You know what I mean? It's crazy to think, like, what do? You never know who's on the other side, you know? Fuck, it's terrifying. You just never know what to do. Well, nevertheless, I'm glad that she didn't open the door, so even though she could have handled it better in a sense, whatever, it's not like she handled it terribly. It's not like she opened the door and got everybody killed, you know what I mean? It's like she handled it fine. She just wasn't sure what to do as a 26-year-old teacher, because it's like, should I open it? Should I not open it? Like, it's stressful shit, man. Anyways, that was story 1. So the story 2 is by Emily Walsh. I feel like that's like a... I have like some names are fake, just kind of like John Smith. I don't know if that's a real name. I feel like they gave a fake name, but also at the same time a real name. I don't know. But I guess we'll see what happens. So let's go into story 2, guys.
This was back in my university days, not too long ago.
University days.
I was in between classes with an hour-long gap. I had to go to the bathroom, but I didn't like using the bathrooms that most other people use. There were a couple restrooms on campus that were never really used. For example, the activity center building's bathroom. Our school's activity center was usually a ghost town during early day hours. And it was next to the building where I'd be having my next class, so it wasn't like it was far away. Inside the lobby of the activity center, some guy was sitting on a desk looking down at his phone. He looked up at me as I passed and said good morning. I said it back and proceeded around the curved hallway to the restrooms.
Okay, nothing seems
While I was
fishy
in
there.
one of the stalls, the door to the restroom opened and a man asked if anyone's in here. Being that it was the women's restroom, I was a little weirded out by that.
Anyone in here?
I didn't answer.
Get the fuck out of here.
The door to the restroom closed, but I heard footsteps come up to my stall and stop. There was a light tap on the stall door with one of his fingers, I presume. Then, in that ever so tiny crack in the door, I saw the man pressing his face up through it. I saw his eye looking in for a second. I gasped and said, "Someone's in here." He replied back asking why I didn't answer him, then told me this building and all nearby buildings are going into lockdown because of an apparent student who was sighted with a weapon.
It's him,
I didn't
isn't it?
understand why he was in the women's bathroom with me, though.
It's him. It's
I
him.
left the stall to be face-to-face with him, and it was that guy that was sitting on the desk before. I was guessing he was the front desk worker or whatever for this building.
Don't believe
He had
him.
to be trustworthy.
You can't believe him.
He showed me a text on his phone from a random number, and it was a warning from the university to stay inside whatever building and classrooms you're in, and to lock all the doors due to a potentially armed individual on campus. I found that alarming, so I felt comfortable with him going to blockade the bathroom door with a garbage bin. After he did that, though, the two of us just stood in the bathroom together, awkwardly.
No,
I was
it's a
trying to ask him
setup.
for more details about the potentially armed person on campus. He said he had no other information on it, though.
Yeah, because it's you.
Something about the way he was looking at me relentlessly, like no social cues or when to stop staring at me. I felt uneasy. I pulled out my phone to create a buffer, and as I was on my phone, I thought to just look for a similar text from the school that he showed me. But I didn't get any text from the university. I went to the school's website, which would often have news and alerts.
I bet there's no
Didn't have
lockdown.
anything about it, though.
He just wants to.
I asked this man's name, and he said his name was Eli, that he worked in the building.
Liar.
Now that I thought about it, though, his outfit consisted of light blue bootcut jeans with brown boots and a gray hoodie. He looked, if anything, like a maintenance worker. Instead of trying to continue the conversation with him, I was on my phone texting friends, any friends who I knew were on campus at the moment, asking if they heard anything about this armed person. I had 2 friends text back saying no, class was in session like normal. I looked up at the man, who was now even closer to me. Time stopped moving in that instant. He looked at the door, then whispered to me that he thought he heard something, that we should make a move to one of the stalls and hide. I froze, both physically and mentally. He started to walk up to me, with his arms slightly extended out to nudge me into one of the stalls with him. At this point, the only thing I could do was scream, as loud as I could. I caught him off guard, and I think he went into full-on panic mode, because he looked around the room and then hurried to move the trash bin away from the door and storm out of the bathroom.
Oh, what a psycho.
I proceeded to leave the bathroom a few seconds after him, running to the nearest exit. From there, I called my mom to cry to her about it. She actually called campus police for me and then drove to the school to meet me, and that's when I told campus police about the man, with my mom there to support me. A day later, I received a call from campus police, and they said they reviewed the footage caught in the building and could confirm that man did not work at the school, and that they would do their best to find out who he was.
Told ya.
I never received any future updates.
I'm gonna pause that right there, but this next story is gonna be by Alexander T. Honestly though, it's just... That's the sad thing about like this world. You don't even know who to trust. Who can you trust? Who can you trust? How do you know who you can trust? That's the thing. You don't. Anybody could just say, "Oh, there's a lockdown." Do not listen to anybody. If there's a lockdown, they'll announce it over the whole PA system. They'll have flashing lights or whatever the hell, or you know what I mean. Like they'll have some kind of signal, and then it'll be all over the campus site. It'll be if you have the app. Like we have an app called something, and then it'll send you a message or something saying this campus is now in lockdown. You know what I mean? Do not listen to a random guy that just says. Like he literally was so calm a few minutes earlier, like a minute earlier, because like he's just like sitting there. Good morning. Morning. I go to the stall. I got an idea. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's probably what his thoughts were. So basically, the lesson here is don't believe anybody unless you know that it's over the PAP system. It's actually the school announcing it. Especially if you see red flags, like he's being sus towards you. He's in the woman's washroom saying, "Is anybody in here?" Literally right after you go in. So it's like he knew you were in there. He already knew you were in there. That's why he went in there, because he knew you were there already. Sus. It's crazy how some people can be that way. It didn't seem like she was in any danger necessarily. Obviously, he could have done something. I feel like he was about to like assault her sexually or something. So I'm glad that she screamed and got out. But that's the thing. It's kind of like there's no... You gotta put 2 and 2 together. 1, he's being creepy. 2, there's nothing from any friends. The school seems normal. Classes are functioning as normal. This guy's sus. You gotta get the hell out of that washroom. You know what I mean? Like, poor girl too. You don't even like using the washrooms, and then the one time you do, that no one's really there. Of course, some guy comes in and then freaking says that shit to you. Like, oh my god. That's so fucked up. I nevertheless am glad that she's good. It's just hard to trust anybody these days. You just don't know who you can trust, and that's the terrifying thing. Like, who can you trust? Anyway, guys, this is going to be the last story. Again, please be safe in schools. It can be very dangerous. Again, I work at a school as security, so it definitely can be on edge and nerve-wracking, of course, with COVID. Not much shit's likely to happen. I'm not going to go 1,000 times. Anyway, guys, let's resume. Alexander T, story 3.
It was 9th period, the end of the school day.
9th period? We only had 5. 9 periods.
9th period was one of my off periods, so my school days would be a little shorter. A couple of my friends also had their schedules set up that way.
9
Ryan
periods.
and Scott.
Jesus.
Our third
Ryan
friend
and
Tyler
Scott.
had off 9th period every other day.
Tyler?
This was one of the days he didn't have off. But since it was Friday and a nice day out, we were all texting each other, making plans to hit the beach. Tyler was talking about sneaking out of gym early to come with us, so we were waiting in the hallway by the gym. This hall was in the far corner of the school. The only people passing were students going to gym class. Tyler texted us that he was just going to wait till the gym teacher took attendance, then sneak back to the locker room and meet us in the hall.
Well, they'll notice you're gone, no?
He was taking a while for some reason. There's a set of exit doors at the end of the gym hall we were standing in. It wasn't supposed to be used as an entrance, yet here came some guy through the doors. Even though it was a really nice day out, this guy came through the 2 doors in the hall wearing black sweatpants and a black zipper-up hoodie with the hood over his head.
Sus.
He was also wearing a black backpack.
Sus.
We went silent as he walked past us, making a point of looking at all 3 of us with this dagger of a stare. Ryan stepped up and said, "What, dude? Fuck off." and the guy stopped in his tracks and turned to face Ryan and ask him if he's got a problem. Scott and I stepped in and just said forget it over and over until the guy turned and kept walking.
Wait, why do you say fuck off? I don't understand.
That guy seemed extremely sketchy. He looked like he could have been a student, but none of us recognized him. He had a little facial hair, but it was kind of patchy though. A few minutes later, we texted him asking him to hurry up, and he texted back he couldn't sneak out just yet since we're in lockdown. This was a shock to us because we weren't aware of this. He said the gym teachers announced it and everyone was hiding in the locker rooms. We also just realized the doors separating the gym hallway from the actual locker room hallway were closed and locked. We immediately linked it to that creepy looking dude dressed in all black who just walked past us.
Hide. He literally just walked past you.
Reality hit us so much harder when there were these popping sounds from down one of the hallways. At first they sounded like maybe a teacher slamming books on a desk as if to wake a student up or something.
Not that loud.
We quickly put two and two together and realized they were gunshots. The sounds of students screaming quickly
Goosebumps.
followed. Next thing we knew, we saw that guy in the black appear down the hall, and he was running full speed towards us.
Run!
The three of us ran out the two doors that the guy
Jesus.
entered from, and all the way to the woods next to the school. In that moment, I felt the curtains of life slowly closing, and the thought of death becoming a reality. I looked back twice as we ran, and saw that guy was chasing us, but he was kind of far away. He screamed stuff at us, most of it inaudible, but I did make out him saying, "I'm gonna kill you, Finn." We made it to the woods by hopping the fence.
Call the cops now. Hurry up. Run. Call the cops
right now. We had a
now.
nice shield of trees covering us from view.
It doesn't matter.
We
Call the cops right
stopped to
now.
catch our breath. We decided to wait it out, laying flat on the ground to avoid detection.
Do you not have a phone?
We then heard footsteps nearby. They got louder and louder until I could see him running through the woods looking for us. He ran further away from us, not noticing us. And when he was out of sight, we all agreed to run for it back to the senior parking lot. Between the running and the shock of the near-death experience we just had, I don't know how I didn't vomit. We got to my car, and I drove all three of us to my house. Obviously, the beach idea was out the window now. It later blew up on social media in our high school class group chat that one of the new teachers was shot by the guy and was sent to the hospital in an ambulance.
Shit.
He survived, but everyone thought he was going to die considering he got shot twice. No one knows who that guy was or why he targeted that one specific teacher. I'm sure he went after us because Ryan antagonized him. He probably waited to come back for us, or Ryan specifically, because he didn't want to alert the whole school with a gunshot. Who knows though? But that wouldn't have really mattered anyway because the school was already tipped off by a nearby house about him because he was seen pissing on their property before going to the school.
Ew.
Not to mention the way he was dressed on an 80-degree day. I consider this a near-death experience, and I count my lucky stars I survived.
Wait, so why the hell... Okay, so from my knowledge, Ryan, the one that antagonized the guy, why did he even say, hey, fuck off? I don't understand. Like, he literally did not say anything to him, right? He didn't say a word. Like, the guy, the sus guy in all black did not say a word to him, right? And then the guy just says, fuck off. Like, where did that come from? Am I stupid or something? Let me back this up. I'm not going to put the video here again, but I'm going to back this up a little bit so I can see what the fuck is happening here.
Third friend Tyler had off 9th period every other day. This was the beach. Teacher took attendance, then sneaked back to the backpack.
Just skipping a little bit.
We went silent as he walked past us, making a point of looking at all three of us with this dagger of a stare.
Was that why?
Ryan stepped up and said, "What, dude? Fuck off." And the guy...
Oh, okay. I see. So because the guy gave him looks, so he was like, what? You know? So, okay, that I understand. But still, it's a sus guy. He's wearing all black. He's have his hoodie up, which is sus. So anytime you have your hoodie up and it's hot outside, you know, and you're all black, no, you're up to something. You're up to something. And you're lucky that he did not literally just go there just randomly start shooting people. If he did not have a target, all three of you guys are dead. Just saying. 100% a near-death experience, because honestly, they would have been dead if it wasn't for that teacher that he wanted to shoot first. I'm assuming that was an ex-student who hated his teacher, who potentially failed him, and then was like, you know what, bitch, I'm gonna fucking shoot you, and then you're gonna die, and then that's my payback or some shit. I don't know. That's why being a teacher can be scary sometimes, because like students will literally go insane. Some of them at least, and they'll go ape shit and they'll do this stuff. So it's like you gotta be careful. You really gotta be careful and watch your and watch your back. You never know what just students will do it nowadays. I'm telling you. So honestly, that was a really good video. Scary, obviously, it had me on edge, even though I wasn't really showing too much, you know. But just because like it's hard for you to like totally like react like when you're not really in it. Like if you're actually in the fucking situation, I'd be like fuck, you know what I mean. but it's like, it's hard to like imagine how it's like when you're actually, like, there's not even like a visual, it's just kind of like photos, you're just kind of like hearing it, you know? It's harder to react, because it's gonna be like, oh my god, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, but that's definitely really scary. I'm definitely glad all these people are okay. Glad that teacher survived the gunshot, because like, fuck man, that would not be cool. But they're honestly lucky that they escaped. And he's lucky that they actually, that he's lucky that he messaged his friend saying, yo, where are you? But like, why would it not be like announced over the freaking thingy though? Like, why would, like, how did they only know about it? Like, how did no other part of the campus know about it? Like, was it just that building? Like, he could have gone anywhere. The whole campus should have been closed, like shut down for a second, like in lockdown, you know what I mean? So I don't understand how they didn't know about it, because it's like it wasn't even announced. So it's like, again, like, would you even believe him? Because it's like, it wasn't even announced. Like, how do you even know you can believe him? It's your friend, so obviously you would believe your friend, right? But it's like, I don't know, that's kind of weird how they wouldn't know about it, and it wasn't even announced. Yeah, they're lucky that guy had a different target, and they're lucky as hell that they escaped, because all of them could have died just because they're friends. They could have just been Ryan, who knows? But I never lost my brother. All okay. I hope he got caught eventually. I don't know if you mentioned that in the end of that video, but I really hope they caught him. Anyway, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to like it. Be sure to comment down below your thoughts. Have you guys had any scary lockdown experiences? Because I have not had any scary ones. We had like an open lockdown, so it's like you could still, you can't enter or leave the school, but it's basically a lockdown where you can still, like an open lockdown. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a lockdown where you can still walk around, you can still go from class to class. It's just no one can come in. So kind of like something nearby is happening, but not necessarily at the school, you know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, guys, yeah, be sure to comment your thoughts down below if you guys had any experiences. Let me know in the comments below, because I really want to know. Even though they're probably terrifying. I hope none of you guys had to like experience anything crazy like that, but if you guys did, I'm glad you guys are okay, assuming you guys are. And yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I will try uploading more Mr. Nary videos. This is the first one of 2. Tomorrow I'll probably upload the second one, hopefully. And that's going to be it. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Peace out. I hope you guys like this video.